So interweb, what's going on? We have found our way to Forgotten Boardwalk, hanging out with my buddy Jamie. Jay, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First thing in the morning, Jay's poured us beer. We're creating a beer. We're creating a collaboration,
We
right?
are. We're doing something pretty cool. I'm excited about it.
I'm excited about it. We met a couple weeks ago, started talking about brewing a beer with the festival, with Forgotten Boardwalk. We'd never done that before. For 12 years in the industry, we know how to market beer, we know how to get people to come to the festival, but we didn't know how to make beer. I'll admit that. I will admit that I know what's in beer. Delicious and Unicorns is in beer. So I drink it. Jamie said, hey, we've got an idea, and we met with Dave, Seth, and her, and kind of kicked around some options. And what'd you come up with?
What did we come up with? Because I think you guys kind of led us into this direction. We asked you which beers kind of really did well at the Atlantic City Beer Festival. We kind of decided that we really want to bombard people with hops. We wanted something approachable and something that a lot of the public would like. The Pilsner, I think, is going to turn out to be a little bit hoppier than your normal based Pilsner, so it's going to have some hop characteristics in it, but it's still going to be a Pilsner nonetheless.
I was excited. I drink Pilsner. Paul drinks Pilsners, so that's a win, especially as something that's going to be very drinkable. And believe it or not, it's going to be very available, which is super exciting because you're going to brew it for more than just a festival. You're going to put it in production.
Yeah, that wasn't the original intention when you guys first came down. We kind of were just like looking for it to be something really approachable, like we said. But we looked at the recipe and we thought we would really enjoy it. The people that like Forgotten Boardwalk would really enjoy it, sort of full year round. So we said, why not just make this beer full year round? Hopefully it works out for us. If not, it will be a one-time seasonal in 2017.
Internet, it will work out for them. Make sure this works out. You guys came up with a fantastic name, which is very apropos. SAT word today, apropos. Apropos for Atlantic City, and you've named it
Free parking.
Have you ever seen free parking in Atlantic City? It's a fictitious thing. It's a unicorn. Jamie is creating for Atlantic City free parking.
Free parking. We don't suggest you drink the beer and then try to find free parking.
I was literally just thinking that. I was like, I've had a bunch of free parkings. I should be able to park here.
The story is actually, it is based on Atlantic City as well. The story is about in World War II, prisoners of the Third Reich were actually allowed games and pastimes. So the US government got together with the British government and they decided to hide a whole bunch of items in Monopoly boards and send it out to prisoners of war. So the way that the prisoners knew it was a rigged set is that there was a dot in the free parking spot. So it was a red dot in the free parking spot. Also hidden in the set was real cash. A compass replaced one of the tokens, and then on all the title deed cards that you would win, they had kind of escape plans in it. We decided to call it free parking. It is a Jersey Shore kind of classic tale that not many people know about.
So you got a history lesson. Throughout the course of this video, you are going to get a brewing lesson. We are just going to pummel you over the head with education, and you're welcome. You are welcome. We're going to get back there with Dave, and we're going to start the brewing, the hurry up and wait, add some more, hurry up and wait. I'm super excited to get involved, and hey, thank you for doing this with us.
Oh, no, not a problem. Thank you for doing it with us, actually.
No, thank you for doing it. We're doing it together. We're doing it together. Pay attention to the video. Like I always ask Paul, let's try to keep this 5-7 minutes long. You're going to be here for the next 35 minutes. Enjoy. There's jokes, there's fun, but ultimately you're going to get to see how free parking was created. Jay, we're going to get to brewing. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. All right, so out there was the fun portion of Forgotten Boardwalk, and Dave is going to kind of walk us through the steps of free parking.
All right, free parking's our Pilsner. I'm very excited to be making one finally. It's going to be real easy drinking, starting with a simple malt bill, then back it up with some tasty noble hops and a little bit of American punch behind that.
Dave's got me working today. I'm going to help brew some beer, right?
Yeah, man.
Nice. I'm actually going to get dirty. I'm not going to get dirty. I'm not going to get dirty. Too pretty to get dirty. We're going to jump into it. You guys are going to see the process that it takes. The first time you'll actually be able to pour this beer in your face hole, it's going to be Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival.
Very exciting.
So it's awesome. You VIPs will get it first, and then everybody else will kind of follow suit, and then it may find its way on tap at some of our favorite places in the area. Free parking. People haven't heard of free parking in Atlantic City. It's all BS. There's no free parking. We are going to bring you free parking.
This is our base malt. This is what we're using for this beer. It's a German Pilsner malt, very traditional, light crackery base, but it's not going to get in the way of the hops, and just keep it light.
So we're just going to add this to boiling water at first.
Yeah. Evans Milling for 1916, which also uses the same base malt. So this is a Pilsner malt.
And this is edible.
Oh yeah. It's kind of like grape nut. This is
It is exactly like grape nuts. That makes sense. So, and this is sucking it all up like a giant tank.
Yep.
This is what you put a little bit of this in, right?
Yep.
The acidulated I pronounced that correct. Oh yeah, look at that. Got a little more bite to it.
Yep.
I'm gonna go over here. We're gonna add some water to the acidulated. I'll remember that all day. It's the only SAT word I'm gonna remember all day because that acidulated. So we got a little of that. A little, what's the other grain?
Pilsner malt.
Pilsner malt. We're gonna add some water. Apparently stir it up.
Yep.
Heat it
Lots
up.
of stirring.
Wait. We're gonna hurry up and wait. A lot of hurry up and waiting here in brewing. In the meantime, we're gonna drink.
All right. You want to scoop and get dirty?
Stupid. I'm getting dirty. So those of you who are actually watching me work, this is not shit you'll see frequently.
First step is we're gonna be hitting it with water and just mixing the grain in, trying to go for like a nice thick oatmeal consistency.
All right.
All right, so let me put a nice bed of hot water down and then we'll get scooping.
I feel like we should break out some beakers and like that, start boiling some stuff, Dr. Bunsen Honeydew style. How many people get the Dr. Bunsen Honeydew reference?
I got it.
Just Paul. All right. How many scoops? Just keep going till you say.
Science.
How many barrels will this make?
This is just about 1 barrel, but since it's going to be a low ABV, nice easy drinking beer, we might be able to get about 40 gallons out of it or so. With this beer, because we want it to be nice and easy drinking, kind of light body, we're going very traditional, easy malt bill, Pilsner malt, a little bit of acidulated, and then we're going to start low, very traditional German mashing procedure to make sure that we get all the sugar out. We don't want a lot of residual sugar, keep it light, keep it easy drinking.
Babe, this does not mean I can cook at home. I'm just going to put that out there.
Alright, let's take the temperature. Pretty close, about 110. Alright, that looks pretty good. 117.
All right, so we're at 117. Keep stirring this up, or is it in its
No,
where
we
it's
can
at?
let it rest there for 5 minutes, and then we're going to raise the temperature up to the next rest. In order to, it's called a protein rest, but since these malts are modern and highly modified, they don't need a very long rest. But just to break down anything so there won't be too much residual protein or sugar in the end.
Mutant hops. It's awesome. All right, so we got 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Just going to check the pH. Shooting for a high 5s. There we go, 5.9.
So now we're bringing this up to 131 before we transfer it?
Not yet, we got a couple more steps to go. 140, 145, 163.
Then you drain all the liquid out of this, right?
And then we're done with all the grain. We got all the sugar that we got can out of it, and the rest goes to feed some cows. Because the two enzymes that work, they really like it in the, they have to share. They play best around 150.
Okay. So this is all grain, right?
Yep, 100% grain and water. German Pilsner malt, and like I said, just a little bit of German acidulated malt too, which is really just malt that they spray with lactic acid so that it's still Reinheitsgebot.
Say that slower.
Reinheitsgebot, that's the German purity law. They're not allowed to use anything but grain, water, hops, and yeast once it was discovered. Yeah, 144 is what we're heading towards.
All right, so we're at 115. 17. So in today's video, we'll be stirring.
Yeah, here's some more stirring. All right, temp check.
Got the important job. 121.
All right, well that's where we wanted to be in the first place. Yep. Make it a little thinner. Try and help us out. All right, how are we doing?
127.
All right.
129. 128. Now, have you ever had one of these batches just go horribly wrong on you?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
We're just recording our times and the rest periods.
So now we're more at that hurry up and wait. We've got about 34 minutes and 42 seconds. Just making it seem more technical than it actually is. But yeah, 35 minutes, chill out.
Yeah, absolutely. Let the beta amylase do its thing and start breaking down those starches into the sugars that we need to turn into alcohol.
What's the next process? We're just waiting on this?
Yeah,
Gonna
so
hurry up and
now
wait.
we have hurried up and waited to the next step. We start with long chain starches. So the first step is to try and break those chains into smaller pieces for the first enzyme to work on. That's done. Now we're waiting for the next enzyme that likes to nibble the ends a little bit. So we got more ends accessible for that alpha amylase. So now it's breaking down those starches even further into sugars to make them nice and easy for that yeast to break and fart out alcohol.
Fart out alcohol. Dave, you're a classy fella, man.
I like to class it up.
Yeah.
I started in college about 1997 or so, and got my first brewing job in 2006 or 7.
So you got the basic fundamentals and said, cool, somebody's going to pay me to do it, and I'm going to figure it out even further.
Right.
The heavy lifting part I was telling you about.
So this next step is, in German, the fancy word is Vorlauf, but it really just means recirculate. What we want to do is, you can see what's first coming out is full of grain and everything. So we're going to recirculate a little while. That grain that's in there now is going to settle a little bit and kind of act as its own filter. Okay. And then that way we won't send any of the husk or anything into the kettle, because if we boiled the husks, it gets kind of astringent and leads to some off flavors. So we try and leave all that behind here, make sure it's nice and clear before we send it over.
All right, so Dave just measured the sugar.
So it starts off pretty high, and then as we rinse more sugars out, the gravity is going to get lower here. But as long as we don't go below what our target gravity is, then we're good to go. We're going to be collecting about 38 gallons over here for our boil.
Okay.
And probably should, end up somewhere over 40 by the time we're all said and done.
How long does this have to come to a boil before you put the hops in, right?
Yes. So the first hop addition is going to be almost immediately once it starts to boil. And then it'll be, I think, an hour for the next one.
So now, do you have a smaller system you practice on? Say, all right, I want to try, like, kind of going off on your own to present, or you're just like, this is our plan. You guys formulate a plan and then go with that.
Yeah. I'm pretty confident in being able to make a beer right the first time. Yeah. Sure, I didn't overshoot, but it's about all we can boil anyway.
It says baby beer, huh?
Yeah, they call it wort, W-O-R-T.
I knew that. I actually knew it worked. Really excited about it.
So it's actually not bad to drink. All right, we'll call it 115 of the boil. All right, dump her in.
Oh, sweet. All right, so this is 4 ounces of hops to get it started. So now we're gonna hang out and wait an hour, right?
That's it. Just gonna boil that and give it.
Now, how long does that hops take to break down, or is it literally just start right away?
Yeah, I mean, you can see that the pellets open up almost immediately, but then what it's doing is there's oils in there, essential oils that do take time to break down. The longer it's in the boil, the more of it you get broken down and the more of it's utilized. On there.
All right, so it's been about an hour. So the other hops have kind of broken down and done their thing.
Yeah.
And now how much of this are we putting in?
4.8 ounces.
4.8 ounces. So far we're almost 9 ounces of hops we've added.
Yep.
All right, cool. Doing math, so that's a win. Oh, I get to go for it. Nice. I like how you can see it start to break down right away.
Yep. Now we're gearing down. Next one is 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
But we have another addition in 5 minutes, which is yeast nutrient and kettle coagulant, which just kind of, now that all these proteins are starting to bind together, we don't want to send those in the fermenter, so we add some Whirlfloc, and it's going to bind them in the bigger chunks so that they'll fall to the bottom before we transfer.
How important is the time component? You know, the 5 minutes, the 45 minutes, the hour. I mean, the time component. How
crucial?
Is it crucial?
Yeah, absolutely. Every couple minutes count. Well, that's where, I mean, Dogfish Head pioneered the continuous hopping where I figure instead of just adding it at 90 minutes and 60 minutes and 30 minutes, what if we hop the whole time? Because every minute we're going to get a little bit more, a little bit different out of all the hops.
So as you're following along, this is our free parking pills. We're hanging out. Dave is just crushing it. We're pretending to help. We're at least making the attempt. You're gonna get to drink the hell out of it at the Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival, and then from then on in throughout Jersey, which is awesome. All right, so you're gonna add our next edition.
Yep. So kettle findings and a little extra yeast food just to keep them happy. All right, now we're getting another 6 ounces of Sapphire.
All right, so you said this hop is the Sapphire, right?
Yep.
And before was the Crystal. What was the first hop we put in?
Sapphire again.
All right, so the variety actually is where the flavor comes from, right? The different kind of like salt and pepper and making it, I guess, overcomplicating or undercomplicating, correct?
Right, but yeah, different ones have different characteristics, whether it be herbal or this one's citrusy or this one's tropical. So these tend to be more on the herbal side, but just a great traditional German aroma. Nothing too crazy, but really delicious and kind of flowery at the same time.
Delicious is the key word.
Yeah.
Delicious is the key word. So originally we did 4 ounces of that, then 4.9 of the Crystal, right? And now we're doing what, 6 ounces of that?
6.2.
6.2.
And at this point, we're getting really close to the end of the boil. So we're going to be, the closer we get to the end, the more aroma and flavor we're getting.
Okay.
So less bitterness, more aroma and flavor.
Nice.
Boom.
So this is about how long for this to boil for a while?
Now I've got 10 minutes.
10 minutes, and then what do we do after this?
Dump in a ton of hops.
You said that. It's like 3 pounds of hops or something wacky like that.
Yeah, that Whirlpool edition is going to be huge and aromatic, and looking forward to it.
Again, aromatic, smell-o-vision, if you've got it, perfect. We're coming over as soon as you tell us it's online.
Now we're checking our gravity and seeing probably how much water we have to add in order to hit our target gravity. Because since we boiled so much off, it concentrates it, raises the gravity, so we need to bring it back down again to where we want it.
Dave keeps mentioning gravity. What is gravity
In
scenario?
this sense, it's pretty much the amount of sugar that's dissolved in a liquid. The more sugar that's in there, the thicker it is and the denser it is. So it's kind of a measure of density. We say gravity, but
Yeah, well, that's what it's. Gravity holds you to the earth, sugar to your beer. That makes sense.
all right. So we need to bring it back up to 38.5 gallons.
So it seems more and more like I know what I'm talking about. And as the day progresses, I'm understanding brewing probably more than I did when I first started this venture that is the Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival. The levels of science are ridiculous. We're learning words like gravity. I can't pronounce half the other ones we've learned. All right, so this is essentially 3 pounds of hops, right?
Math, carry the one. Yeah, sure.
We're carrying ones. Oh, shit. We're at that point in the day. So we're ready?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, that's one. Here's our Crystal. So now this will just get spinning and
Yeah, the idea doesn't work all that well because we have that coil in there, but the idea is to spin it quickly and the solid should collect in the
Center,
a cone in the middle, yeah. But with this much hops, we're kind of screwed anyway.
so now will so we put 3 pounds of hops in that. Will that completely break down?
Mostly we're going to try not to put it into the fermenter. So it's mostly just going to drop to the bottom of the kettle. But now we're ready to start cooling.
If you guys were paying attention when it was filling, there's actually a coil in the center of that Dave's running cold water through to cool the entire process down. It actually looks just like that.
Yep, we're going to start using this one too. Might as well tag team it, get 2 going, especially for this lager. We want to bring it down to 45 as quickly as we can. Yeah, this one actually works better. The copper is a better conductor than stainless steel.
So then from this point, we're gonna transfer it over to the fermenter where it's gonna sit for 10 days.
Yep, roughly.
You're gonna take it out, make sure it's working.
Yeah, it should be done most of the fermentation in 10 days, but we'll let it kind of trail off and do its thing and for another 10 after that.
We're gonna give this an hour or so, maybe hour and a half, possibly 2. Cool it down, and then the next process, move it over to the fermenter. Rock it. All right, so we're checking on our cooling beer. We're drinking cold beer, checking on the cooling beer. Dave is on it, tentative.
Yeah, I think it's about ready to bite the bullet here.
Yeah, what are we at? What is it at?
Well, I'm trying not to disturb it too much. The bottom is about 65, the top is about 100. Get the beer going, and then this is our yeast in here. So once we're sure that the beer is down to temperature and started going in the tank,
Yeah,
add the yeast.
And the yeast is in, I think a yeast is in the powder form, but it's...
Yeah, we use kind of a liquid slurry. You'll see it when we open it.
So that'll push all the air out of the tank.
Yep.
Science.
Right now, air is not a problem. It's the only time we're going to be adding oxygen. We want to make sure that the yeast needs oxygen to eat. But then from here on out, oxygen is going to be our enemy.
So are you adding an O2 or?
Yep, straight oxygen. Let's check out our yeast.
This is a yeast you create for here, right?
I borrowed this yeast from another brewery. Since we haven't really started our full lager production yet. Sanitizer, everything must be clean. So kind of a general rule of thumb for lagers is to pitch twice as much yeast as you would for an ale. They ferment a lot more slowly and the yeast has to work harder. Light, fluffy, beautiful. Alright, we're in. You can see.
It's edible?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I can taste the yeast in beer.
Magic.
I never realized I could taste the yeast. I always blamed it on the hops. So this is the beer we've brewed. Going through here, getting some oxygen into the fermenter. So I guess we're gonna swing back in like 10 days, take a peek,
Yep.
and then 11 days after that, and we will have viable free parking. What I've learned here today is patience is key, and there's a reason why most of us don't brew beer. Dave seems to be a patient man and is brewing beer. This has been fantastic. So I guess we're gonna let science do its thing.
That's it.
And then 10 days, pop back and see what's going on here, and then 11 days after that, we're gonna drink some.
Sounds awesome.
All right.
Can't wait.
Dude, Dave, thank you, bro.
Absolutely.
So we're back at Forgotten Boardwalk. It is 10 days later. We're gonna jump in, see Dave, and see how free parking Pils is rolling. So come on, we're going in. Forgotten Boardwalk. $10 days, a little bit of a change. We're gonna check it out. So what's happening 10 days later?
All right, so most of the fermentation is done, but a few days ago, right before all the sugars have been eaten, what we want to do is, since it ferments cold, the yeast works a little bit more slowly, like us in winter. But just like last weekend when the weather warmed up, we wanted to raise the temperature so that the yeast kind of works a little bit faster and drives off a little bit of these flavors like diacetyl, which is like that buttery flavor. Works a lot better at a higher temperature. So it creates heat as it works. We raise the temperature and let that kind of create its own natural heat. So now we're back up to 58 degrees and it should be a lot cleaner now.
Is it drinkable?
It is, we can try it.
We're gonna try it.
It's getting there.
It is.
All right, let me grab a couple glasses.
Smell-o-vision. So yeah, 10 days later, here we are, making beer, baby. Making beer.
Still little bit murky. Lots of yeast still in suspension and stuff, but it's got some, so over the next week or so, it's going to be cleaning up a lot more, but this is kind of the first drinkable step right here.
So after this, we've got about 11 days, right?
About that, yep.
So then we're gonna come back in 11 days and get faced. You can taste it coming along, yeah, that's neat. Drastically different from the taste over there.
Right.
When we first made it, yeah.
A lot less sweet, a lot drier.
Yeah. You guys will get to try this out at the pre-party, right? And then
Absolutely.
at Beer Fest, of course. And then if you're VIPs, we're gonna have it up in the VIP lounge for the entire weekend, so free parking. So we're at the 10-day process. We're gonna come back, we're gonna hang out with Dave some more in 11 days. We're gonna drink some beer. Awesome.
Cheers.
Dave, thanks again. Good seeing you, brother.
You too.
All right, so we found our way back for, I guess, our uncorking
Here we go.
of free parking. This is still Dave, a little bit of a haircut, but definitely still Dave. So yeah, in the last, 20-some days, Dave's been here babysitting the beer, playing with the beer. Chances are he's already tried the beer, but hasn't let you've tried the beer, haven't you?
I can't not.
Little cool piece. We're gonna send some of these out to the bands. Limited edition, pre-canned, carbonated. It's tight. I'm pretty excited. Beer Fest, free parking. I'm gonna stop talking and let's start drinking. What do you think?
All right, sweet. So since last time you were here, the beer cleaned up a little bit. We made sure that there wasn't any diacetyl, which is kind of like a buttery flavor in there. So the beer cleaned itself up. Lots of the yeast dropped out. It's been at 38 degrees for about a little over a week now. So nice cold conditioning and pretty clean. And now we're carbonated and ready to go.
It's 4.6.
Yes.
4.6. So a little stronger than a Pilsner, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, right in the wheelhouse.
Is it? All right, cool. Let's pour some of it in our face holes, man.
Tough to get a good pour out of there, but she'll settle.
Free parking?
Non-existent,
All right. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So this is literally exactly what we talked about.
Yeah.
Something super drinkable that's going to appeal to most.
Yep.
Hot day, this is going to be fantastic.
Yep.
Cool day like today, it's fantastic.
Even when it's 27 degrees
Dude,
outside.
we're winning. Good job, brother.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Guys, free parking will be available at the Atlantic City Beer and Music Festival for the first slurp. And then, hey, different accounts all over New Jersey may be carrying free parking, and look for it in cans sometime.
May, probably.
May. Cans. So these bad Larrys are actually going to go out to the bands sometime this week for the band's drinking pleasure. VIPs, it'll be in the VIP lounge, and everybody else, stop by Forgotten Boardwalk at the Beer Festival and try free parking. Dave, my man, appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming by.
Absolutely.